You must speak your truth. You must speak unfiltered. It's important now than ever before for you to speak your truth. Now, it does sound like common sense and it sounds like obvious, but I want to dive slightly deeper to help you with the inner alignment with how I perceive truth to be. Yes, there are varying levels to speaking your truth. There are filters. There are expressive ways for one to reveal their perceived truth because people walk with either masks or identity. The more you begin to reveal your inner light, the more you begin to speak what's from your heart, unfiltered, the more masks, whether it's yours or someone else's, begin to crack and dissolve. Or even without you being your own healer. But to allow divine process to show what most have not been conscious in seeing. And as you begin to speak your truth, echoing your truth as if you're speaking to yourself even when you're speaking to another, then even your identity begins to unravel. As the old saying goes, attached to nothing by connecting with everything. It is a process, it's not a destination. Now the key for me is when you speak your truth, it's not necessarily that you're speaking your truth to change another truths, but to offer perspective, to allow them within their individual or their individualization process to start to work divinely so, whether conscious or subconscious, in their way. Meaning to be untethered from when you speak, when you feel led to speak. With your soul no longer feeling constricted or tethered to old governing beliefs that you may have lived. But as you speak, to allow great revealings, one conversation at a time, to show itself, so that when you speak your truth, the revelation is for both parties. Now, I'm not suggesting that you should speak your truth on camera, but I am suggesting that you speak your truth wherever you're at. Now, it sounds easier than what it is, but I mean when you are at home, when you are with your family, with friends, and maybe even more challenging, maybe, when you are at work or your place of business, or if you're working with clients or customers alike. The fear of losing money, revenue, or that connection. Let's say I'm an acupuncturist, the fear of losing a client because the truth is being revealed and I must speak it, and yet I don't hold to it, that client might. This is what I'm arriving to. See, to speak your truth, it's a calling to be brave. It's also a calling to speak from your center, meaning speaking from your inner authority. And speaking doesn't always necessarily mean communicating with words. Speaking can be also comprehension and presence. See, when you enter a room, you're speaking to the entire room. When you're in the park or the woods, you're comprehending nature. And nature is comprehending and returning back to you in something new forms. You sit in the park under a tree long enough without attempting to call birds or squirrels or raccoons. Give it a little time, especially if you're sitting with yourself. They start to accept you as part of nature. And within this field of comprehension, and I'm saying nature and the workforce no longer separated, but within this field is where a new refined level of communication occurs, transmutes it into comprehension. And with time, just like exercising a new muscle, as you speak this way, being completely aware with what you're saying, being completely aware and attuned to the emotions that come up, you become the orchestrator, you become the one being in complete authorship. You become the general, the commander of your own presence. Not from a place of speaking so that you can seek attention. But when you speak in this way, again with comprehension and presence, and inaction becomes an action, the same, like yin and yang, no longer separated. Then you begin to script new code into your internal presence, and innately you emit a field of frequency and vibration that changes the entire world. In the beginning, it may seem as incremental, but over time, you will see the waves crashing. You will see chaos. You will see joy. You will see heartbreaks. You will see anger. You will also see judgment from others. As I noted before, when you speak requires bravery. I'm not claiming for it to be simple. I'm claiming that it's your birthright for you to hold your frequency and to release it. Not upon command, but with presence. You become, as in classical Chinese medicine, the ministerial judge, no longer requiring your guru or your yogi or your sifu or your sensei to give you the answers or the responses that you sought. However, the answers and responses when you ask a question to yourself do emit from the same people sometimes, or in spirit, or in prayer, in meditation, your higher self the same. But it's not the same. One comes from a lower density field of your human experience. You would say your ego, and the other energy fields that emit, that allow for your ego to illuminate. And the other comes from the quantum field of your reality. And the reason why it seems incremental at first, it's because your nervous system, your etheric body, your embodiment, you're giving it time to recollaborate to a new frequency that will appear as uncertainty. It's almost like you're no longer viewing the mirror of another soul as if they are a mirror, but more like an obsidian mirror now. Some may say it's Wuji, the great void. And until you become the great void within your field, you're now aware of the great void, of the seemingly nothingness, not just reflecting back at you, but has been speaking to you and with you since the beginning of conscious formation. You are consciousness and you are formation. You chose to incarnate here to form this body, this vessel, and experience consciousness filtered through the vessels necessary for you to be able to experience being a human on this beautiful earth. Now the challenge is when you speak, seek no expectations from the other person you're speaking with, or the room that you're speaking to, or the client that you're working with, or yourself. See, when you speak your truth, you're going to rattle someone else's perspective. They're going to either agree with you, seek a level of neutrality, receive you, or deny your words. It's important for you to be able to receive that in the moment and to arrive at the field of clarity. What is you and what is not you? In return, you're going to receive judgment. But when you speak your inner truth, when that person's judging you, it's simply a mirror, and you're honoring the mirror in return. See, you're offering an opportunity to change illusions, as this is how you work within your field. And you change the space around anything or anyone around you that doesn't have the capacity or ability to meet you at that level, something strange starts to occur. They reject it right away and they go deeper into their beliefs. And this is okay. You speak anyway. See, this is how we learn how when birds chirp and squirrels, they play, but they work hard. Nature continues to evolve within their frequency of comprehension and in the vibratory way that they speak. Because when they speak, it's nature working, no different than when they are working. The initial waves, yeah, you're going to attract a lot of people, perhaps to want to debate with you or want you to submit proof, or to, quite frankly, just disagree with you. That's okay. That becomes your opportunity, your doorway to exit the school of how humans have been educated and trained, and to open up new levels of possibility, which will arrive cloaked in complete and utter uncertainty. Thanks for that. And as you continue to speak your truth, by living your truth from the inside, you will invite new versions of your higher self that you subconsciously have been seeking. And new waves of consciousness in the form of human souls and your environment will begin to reflect back at you more of who you already are.